All right, hello everyone. Here we are, hole number 4 that I'm setting up for here. Apocalypse, and just some accurate wedges and rough iron. That's pretty much what I'm going to recommend for this one. I usually end up going for it. We had this hole in the Winter Links, which I was able to win, and partially was definitely, this was a big contributing hole for me. The method that I used was very sound, and very consistent. I might not have been able to always get it into the fairway, but even when I was up there across on the other side, my perfect ball timing was clutch, especially near the weekend. So this hole definitely fueled my performance, and I was able to win this tournament with this shot. So I'm going to show you the shot. And we'll see if I can get the alignment down. One of the things that I liked about it was, it didn't require much power. It was kind of, you'll see some guys probably power hook this. I actually just got probably the worst. I probably have like a 16.4 or something. It's really, really bad. So I am probably going to full overpower this. So this is going to be kind of an extreme case. This is kind of just a really, really bad break. I usually play at about 1 per ring. So I'm kind of trying to visualize it landing down there at kind of 1 per ring. I'll usually use maybe about half power. This is probably going to require a little bit more. But you can see with what I'm doing with my offset here. And let's take a look. Great ball. Let's see if I can land on the fairway. Looks pretty good. So you can see that it just creeps up and gets over to the other side. It's a lot easier as the wind starts to pick up. Another thing that I can do is I can add on to the ball. However, the pitch from there is actually really easy. And as I mentioned, as I can take off power, get a little bit more accuracy, and I can land much more up towards the front half of this fairway. As I mentioned, you can use snow globes as well to kind of even almost take it down to 0 power. So if I wanted to make that wind, 16.4 for instance, which is probably close to what it was, I could have used very little power and just concentrated on perfect ball and could have took off some of the topspin. Keep in mind, I knew I was going to land shorter on that fairway, so I'm kind of cranking up the topspin. What I'd rather have is cut spin. In fact, you can see there my opponent had a really good line. So landed on the left-hand side, and it was going right for that. That's more or less kind of the way that I tend to try to do it. But let's take a look at this pitch. As I said, even from the rough here, you can still give yourself a good chance to make it. Now, one of the things that you don't want to do is try to play the fairway too much. So this is going to be close to 10.0 per ring. So, one of the things that a lot of guys who would mess this one up, they'd try to play too much topspin and try to, use the fairway. It's kind of a bumpy road on this hole. I'm going to play about 10 per ring, 1.6-ish rings here. And if I can get my perfect ball and have the alignment, so just outside. But for a first attempt, I'll take it. As I mentioned, it's just going to take, I do prefer kind of where my opponent is. It's a little bit easier. As you can see, got it straight downwind. So this makes it very easy. Well, the one thing that I can recommend that you guys do is try to put it on the green if you can. With my angle, it was a little bit harder to do so. But I do highly recommend this. As I mentioned, keeping it off the fairway really increases the potential chance that you can make this. So here you can see that my opponent it looked like a substantial ring play. So let's see how this plays out. A little worried that it might have been too much. And sure enough, there it is, comes up short. So as I mentioned, right around where we were was about 10 per ring. So you only need 1.5 rings there, 1.6. And you can see my opponent took off too much, but with the perfect ball, you know, was potentially going to have a very good chance there. So it'll be nice to see some revisions here for these holes. You know, good luck with that hole. As I mentioned, definitely a relatively easy method. You'll see, you know, a lot of probably iPhone guys might try to curl that and do some kind of slice shot. It's very hard to hit that fairway. So it does require a great deal of precision, and that's one of the reasons that you see me go for the perfect ball instead, is I can raise my accuracy and ensure that I hit the fairway. So part of the reason that I won was because I was able to keep it out of the water on the weekend, guaranteed. So that's one of the reasons that you see me going about playing that shot the way that I do. You know, I have good confidence that I can pull it off with a reasonably close to perfect ball. Whereas with the slice shot, especially with the varying winds that you're going to get, not to mention the wind angle. So a lot of guys are reference aimers, for instance. This is a terrible reference aim shot, okay? So that's, you know, the quickest way to kind of put yourself in the water on that one is by playing it like that. So, you know, since so many guys are reference aimers, this really favors the guy who don't do that in this one, because it's just too narrow of a fairway to be just trying to say, I'm going to aim here and it's going to cover all winds, because that's just not going to happen. But in any regard, good luck, guys, and see you guys for some revisions.